1 in 68 children in America are diagnosed with autism every year. 1 in 26 people will develop epilepsy or seizures in their lifetime. And one young boy struggles with both conditions every day. And this is his story, and how to get him a service dog to help with both conditions.
In January of 2013, there was a news article on one evening about the huge need for a foster to adopt, and that hadn't even ever crossed our minds. It really hit me hard that, maybe this was what we were supposed to be doing. Maybe this is the path that we needed to take. The day that we actually received our license was the day that we received a call about the boys. And it was basically a phone call that I was pulling out of the driveway, and the agency called and said, "Mrs. MacNevin, we have 2 twin boys." Now I'm gonna cry.
So we had from Wednesday to Friday, and they were dropped off Friday evening, and we've had them ever since. Immediately,
the first night, we knew that something wasn't right. Matthew was pulling up and crawling, and Michael couldn't sit without being supported. We had to sit behind him, pillows, a boppy, something. He was always kicking a leg or pounding a fist, nodding his head. And that week I took him to the doctor, and he apparently had already had an MRI, and that MRI had ruled out cerebral palsy. However, the doctor said, not always will it show up on the MRI. Sometimes there's other things that we need to look at. Let's go ahead and schedule an appointment with a specialist, let's see a geneticist and see what happens. And the day that we did get him to the geneticist, we were scheduled for blood work, but then we had to wait 4 weeks to get approval from Medicaid just to get his blood work done. And then once the blood work came back, that was quick. They called us and said, well, the blood work came back and it's not good. There is something going on, but you need to make an appointment with us now, and you'll wait another 3 months to get an appointment to come in and get your test results, because we can't give them to you over the phone. So we went through adoption, everything, Christmas. It was torture, knowing something was going on, but not knowing what, and he was still having all these symptoms where he will literally just go limp. He would be, he has a really hard time with transitions. He has a really difficult time with sensory issues, washing hair, washing his face off, hands. If we were to move him from a play area to get into the high chair, it was a huge ordeal. We had to go step by step with him as to what was going to happen. We're going to put food on the tray. It's time for you to eat. Look, Matthew's eating. Now it's your turn. And it would still always result into a complete just meltdown. But we were always on Michael's time and had to do things his way and how he wanted them to be done. And it was just a slow process. And we started therapy immediately. The doctor did approve that right away, and he's been in therapy since June of 2013 when we got them. He has physical therapy, occupational therapy. He has a dietitian, speech therapy, and then he has a neurologist. He has a developmental pediatrician. He has geneticists. We have it all. And we did finally get the answer in January of this year that he had a rare genetic disorder, and the DUP15Q, and with that comes a very broad spectrum of disabilities. And the doctors will tell us now, well, he has an autism spectrum disorder, he has a seizure disorder, he has a major sensory disorder. How these things are going to manifest when he gets older, we have no idea. So it's a wait and see. And you're doing all you can right now. There's not much more we can do. Let's just wait and see. And I'm not a wait and see. I want him to be able to grow and to play and to develop and just be the best Michael that he can be. Every day he wakes up and we don't know if it's going to be a good day or a bad day. So the minute we walk into the room, we pretty much know him and know if it's going to be a good day or a bad day. And it starts off by just changing his pants from the night before, changing his diaper. Changing his diaper is like, I describe it as wrestling a bear. Clothes on and off are really difficult for him, and it's once they're on, he's okay, but it's putting them on and taking them off. His sensories are what would you say?
Overloaded.
Yeah, that it's just extremely hard for him, and it probably feels like pins and needles to him. And from that point, we have to go to the high chair for breakfast. So that's the next transition that is really difficult for him, just sitting down to have breakfast. A lot of times when he's upset, how Michael shows his frustration because he isn't speaking, he will bang his head. And in the beginning, up until about November, the banging was so bad that he would bruise his head. And at one point, I'll never forget this, we had a social worker that was coming over for our interview for adoption. And here's, Michael banging his head, and I'm trying to redirect him and stop him, and he started biting me. And she says, "He's biting you." And I said, "I know, but he's never done this, and I don't know what to do."
Sometimes there's just too much input. He gets kind of overloaded, and I'm not gonna say he lashes out, but he'll throw things, or unfortunately, a lot of times he throws himself. He'll just basically throw his hands up in the air and just throw himself completely backwards. We keep him in a padded kind of play area, or there's a play area that he can be in, and it's got very thick padding. So of course, we don't want him to do that, but it minimizes him getting hurt. But we can't keep him there all the time. So somebody would have to be holding both of his hands at all times when he's out of there walking around. We're trying to teach him how to walk. And then he had banged his head several times, and so one of the doctors suggested we get him a special helmet that they make for children so they don't bang their heads. So we put that on him, but once again, just like with clothes, putting on the helmet sometimes only lasts seconds. And then you're back to holding both of his hands and walking around. Of course, you can't get anything done during the day, nor attend to the other children because you have to spend so much time with him. And the little time that Isaac has been here, he has not thrown himself back onto the floor. He's had some issues with, throwing some of his fits, but nothing that he would never injure himself on any of these, whereas before they were somewhat violent in action.
That's what I'm wondering.
It's okay.
But
some of them can last all day. He doesn't regulate his emotions well, and once something triggers, he just can't get over it. And you might have a little bit of quiet time, 2 or 3 minutes, and then we go right back into it, another meltdown. And the problem with the meltdowns are that they trigger seizures for him. He will turn blue and he just goes completely limp and he's gone for several seconds. And it's scary for us. It's scary for our girls. We can't leave him with a babysitter. At church, he has to go with us into the sanctuary. We can't take him to the nursery. So it's extremely difficult, especially. We feel bad for Michael and for Marin and for Morgan because a lot of times we can't do big outings. We have to prepare the girls, and I mean, Matthew's really too young right now to know, but the girls realize that there's a big difference in our family activities. We've probably went to dinner twice since, well, June of last year. We have went to dinner twice, actually.
Well, he just doesn't do well, you know, trying to get him to interact with things is difficult. You know, you can give him like a crayon, you know, and he'll not want to color with it. He'll throw it, or he'll want to, you know, bang himself with it. You know,
crowds are difficult for him. If there's just too much stimulation, and he just completely will shut down in situations like that. He just has a blank look on his face, and he can't function, he can't eat, he can't do anything, and he doesn't want to be touched, which is the hardest part. Is when he's having his meltdowns, is he doesn't want us to comfort him. You know, he'll push us away, or headbutt us. So it's sad, it hurts, because I mean, you want to help him and you want to comfort him, but you can't. And then, you know, you'll have people saying, well, why don't they just pick him up and, you know, take care of him? He doesn't want to be touched, and it makes it worse. And so if we're out in public and that happens, I mean, we would just rather keep him at home and safe and not have to be looked at that way, because he's precious. I mean, he's so sweet, and it's not always like that. I mean, we treasure the good days, and on the bad days, that's how we get through it. Just knowing that hopefully tomorrow it'll be better, or maybe after nap it'll be better. Michael's essentially nonverbal. He says mama and dada, but everyone and everything is mommy and daddy, or mama and dada is what he says. So he will call Scott mama, he'll call me dada, he'll call the girls mama. Any of the therapists are mama, dada. So he doesn't associate any one word with one particular item. He also uses baba. Baba is his bottle, his blanket. Anything that's comforting, he says baba for.
Matthew says pretty much everything an 18-month is supposed to. I mean, he's got probably 50 to 75 words or something he uses.
He's putting 2 words together now. When we ask him to say, help please, or up please, or if we ask him to say something, he will say it. Or if I say, Michael, or Matthew, get your shoes, or Matthew, get your coat and let's go bye-bye, he understands, where Michael doesn't understand. Again, since the first day we got them, he just doesn't sleep. I don't know how he does it. We will put him down for a nap. He does not like to be rocked or cuddled or actually, you know, put to sleep. He will just lay in his bed, and he will lay there for an hour or more. Sleeping at night has always been difficult, as well as nap time. He's up anywhere from 2 to 3 times a night, and 2 times is a good night. In the beginning, Scott and I would rotate. You get up once, then I'll get up once, you get up once, I'll get up once, and eventually it just got to be too much, and I'm at home. And he's still working, so he now does weekends and I do throughout the week. But since the boys have came, I have completely given up my business, because I can't work and maintain his therapy schedules that he needs, and take care of the other kids. It's just not possible.
Oh, definitely. Yesterday was the first day with Isaac, and Michael was able to be a lot more mobile than, you know, what he was, and you know, he had his leash and was walking around, and I think there was some tension there, and he used some muscles that he's not used to, and he was running around playing with in the backyard, you know, throwing the toy. You know, last night he did fairly well. He was only up twice, you know, which if he has a lot of interaction, then he will get up more during the night. I don't think his brain really shuts down. You know, he just recounting everything that happened throughout the day. But when he did finally get down at 4 o'clock this morning, he slept until 10. and that's unheard of. He's never slept like that before. So I think that he was able to just finally relax. And
the meltdowns have been a lot less. I mean, they lasted yesterday. There was only 2, and they lasted. One was 7 minutes, and the other one was 12, I believe. And he was able to move past it and to just get through that with Isaac. And Isaac was kissing him and nudging him, and it was precious. It was sweet. And he was getting him with his paws and tickling him, which Michael likes that deep pressure, that interaction. And Brian was able to help us figure out exactly what it was that we needed the dog to do in order to help him to overcome that. And we're still working on that, but there was a huge difference yesterday. There was no banging of his head. He made it through dinner with all of us at the dinner table. Yes, because he would bang so hard. A lot of times at dinner, the high chair would move because he was going backwards in the chair, and it would literally bounce it across the floors in the kitchen. We've also, when we were trying to have him walk Isaac around the house, and Isaac would naturally sit because Michael was walking in a pattern, because that's just one of the things that he does. He'll walk in a circle, and Isaac realized what he was doing and said that was his job. That's what he's supposed to do to break that habit, that pattern. Well, Michael got very frustrated and was yanking and pulling, and we were finally trying to get him to say go, and he would go. And at one point he said go, and
he said thank you, and we're pretty sure he said Isaac at one point too. We've been trying very closely to listen to the words, but if he has said 3 words, thank you, Isaac, and go, that's way more than he's ever said before. The only 2 words we've ever heard him say are Baba and
Dada and Mama.
Oh yeah,
3.
Those 3 words. But they've been the same 3 words now for months. Nothing has been added to his vocabulary, so he's doubled his vocabulary in 24 hours, which is pretty impressive.
All right.
This is Michael, and this is Matthew, and
We just want to thank everybody that has donated, and we do have quite a ways to go. All the donations and help and support have been appreciated by all of us. If anybody has any ideas for us for fundraising, we're very involved in this. We're doing everything we can to try and help out. Anything that can be done for anybody out there, everybody in this family would thank you very much.
And most importantly, the most important thing to us is getting a story out there and sharing a story, and that's what we would really appreciate, is if you spread the word and told others about Michael and what our goal is. If you're interested in making a donation, you can go to www.servicedogformichael.com. That's MICHAEL.com. And you can place your donation online, or there is the account information and bank information that you can send a check directly to the bank that go into Michael's account and help us get this dog. We just want to thank everybody that has helped us so far through this journey. We've raised now a little over $8,000. We still need quite a bit. Our goal is $22,000, but we're getting there. And we've had so much help and support from our family and friends and from complete strangers, and it's been extremely humbling. And it's been a blessing to Michael and to all of us, and we really appreciate it.